Hello, everybody. I'm coming to you to give parents some encouragement. Basically, I'm being told by my God that I should just give testimony. I have been trying to do so many YouTube videos over and over and over again, trying to get out the word that I'm trying to say to help encourage. But God just wants me to give testimony. And at least at this moment, I'm going to do that. Um, my daughter was born to me like perfect, could do no wrong. Like we have children and we always think, and believe that they're just the best in our lives and that, we we're so proud, we're happy to be parents, and we had these visions for our children that we just assume that it just seems that it's going to go our way. It doesn't seem like it can go any other way, especially when we think we're doing the right thing or being pretty decent, whether we're working parents or parents that have to be at home or whatever the parents type of parent that we have to be for our children. We still want to be the best that we can be. It hurts one day when you look and you see that your child no longer wants to take and go by the guidelines of your home. So, this is just to give you an idea or just to set up, I guess, what I'm trying to say as far as my testimony. I remember back when it first happened, my daughter, we were going on on a Bahamas trip in a week, I believe it was. And she was 12 years old at the time. And I'm really feeling like, great. Me and my family's about to do some great things. I'm finally able to take them on a nice trip. We're going on a cruise. Everything was going well. We went and brought clothes and pajamas and everything, right? And then one day I'm going in her bedroom. I go in her bedroom and she's not there in her bed, which was so like not normal, but it could kind of be normal. It was 12 o'clock at night. She should be asleep. She has school the next day. So definitely she should be in her bed. So I went in her room and I did not see her in her bed. So I said, well, where is she? I think I was going to the bathroom is why I had happened to wake up that night. But sometimes I think the Lord gives us a little nudge to let us know that something's going on and you need to know it now. So I'm going around the house. I go downstairs. I go into the basement. I go outside to the backyard. I'm looking in the garage because I can't understand where my daughter could possibly be. So I call my girlfriend and I'm crying. Where's my child? Where's my child? And she's like, well, did you call the police? And I said, yeah, I'm just so, I'm crying to her. Like, I don't know what's going on. Why is this happening? I'm bothering her at 12 o'clock at night. I'm happy she allowed me to do that night because, not all your friends will want you bothering them. So, I was so devastated. So finally, I started just looking through things in her room and I started to just try to do some detective work. And I noticed that a pair of her PJs were gone. Why does she have her PJs? That's not until Christmas, that's not till Bahamas. Okay. So you're not supposed to be wearing anything from out of that bag. Secondly, I noticed a lot of numbers. So I just started calling all these numbers in her room. And I just started calling till I got to a group home for boys. And I'm like, okay, my daughter, Sabria Bland, is missing. This is a number I see that's close to the phone. I'm trying to see if you can just take a look around and see if she's inside your place. No, the man at the front desk kept saying, no, no, nobody gets past me. That'll never happen here. This, that, and the other. And finally, about 6 a.m., because again, this is an all night thing from 12 o'clock. About 6 a.m., he gives me a call. Ma'am, I need you to come here. The police are here. Your daughter was here. I did catch her here. So we have her here waiting for you to come by now. So I of course went to go pick her up, and that basically started the life of what I did not expect that I was going to live when it came to raising my kids. That was the first day she ran away. And I consider it a runaway. She probably would have tried to come back on time before I woke up. I don't know. But what I do know is that many other days it was just complete right out running away. Um, I could not contain her. I could not keep her in this house. There's so many stories that I can and hopefully will be able to tell you, just so that I can encourage you that these days can pass. Give it to God and just believe. So that night I did get her home. And we basically, was everybody was very distraught. My parents was distraught when I called them over. Everybody didn't know what was going on. Why would she do that? I was pretty embarrassed because one of the guys that was a cop, I went to school with him and he knew my name and he's like, Melissa. And I'm like, yes, that's my name. And please, whatever you feel you know about me, you don't, don't tell anybody my business. You feel ashamed. You feel like, you don't want no one to know your child was found at a group home for boys. You don't want everybody to be like, oh, her life is gone to, you know, you don't want that. So I was so depressed about that, very hurt about that. And I had to then live with, I would say, about 8 years of things just getting worse from there. Just getting worse. But what I am here to tell you today is that even though things may seem like they're getting worse, you continually stay. My mom used to say, get on your face and pray. Forget the knees. Forget the knees. She would say, get on your face and pray. And I did many nights not know how to handle it. And many nights I gave in and prayed, and many nights I resisted because I felt like I don't know, I was just in so many different ways of belief because I couldn't believe, why was God letting me go through this? Why did it felt like he forsaked me. It felt like he no longer wanted to be there. And now I have to give a little bit of background for me. I mean, I'm not perfect, and I have 2 children, and I'm not married, never have been. So I'm not perfect, but I wanted to be perfect, not so much perfect, but a good role model for my kids. So I never brought men into my home. And I never just, if I did, it would have had to been something really serious that I felt that maybe this is safe enough. First of all, I didn't want my children to be at risk from any man that I don't know what his mind is like. Secondly, I just didn't want them to think that mom was always with some new man. So, I didn't do things in their face just to, you know, because I wanted them to think that I was a role model, to believe that, here it is, my mom, she stayed strong. She did what she had to do. We stayed in church. We were always in church because I needed God and I needed the strength and I needed to make sure, being, I would have to say, celibate for most of my adult life. I always say some people were just having fun and I wish I could have, but, I kept believing that God was going to bring me this husband and that he's going to restore my unit of home, with the husband, the wife, and the kids. But it never happened that way for me, and that's fine because now my children are 24 and 20. So, I'm fine with that because, it is what it is. God had another plan. Since I guess I didn't carry out the order of things, he didn't finish the order of things, and that's fine. He had another plan. But that plan, whenever we have something going on in our lives, whenever we don't know what it is, whenever God gives us something that makes us feel like, God, what do you want me to do with this? How do you expect that I can handle this? There is something you're supposed to do with it. There is something you're supposed to handle. And today I have to tell you that you will be able to give a testimony of how you handled it, however it turns out. God wants you to give testimony on how you handled it and how it came through for you, however it turns out, how you were able to breathe, however it turned out. Okay, so there's many days that I'm going to hopefully be able to come back and share with you. But I just want to let you know today is December 20, what is it, December 20th, I think it is. December 20th, 2014. My daughter's 20 years old. And in October, I took her to get her own place because it was just best for us because I wanted to grow a relationship with her. And 2 grown women in the house just don't work. So, because things were getting better with us, because I fought hard to get her off the streets. When I say that, we were talking about drugs, we were talking about, gangs, We were talking about so many things that were going on out there in the streets, and the police coming to my door all the time, and me having to go and find her, and me having to do reports for runaways, and me have to, my having to go to court, because she's in court systems because she done got herself into something. It was so much to handle for me, but I fought hard. I mean, and everything that ever could come to my mind, I just did it. I People kept saying, I think that you are taking it too far, and maybe she's going to come around, but then maybe she wouldn't have. And I didn't want to have that on my head if I didn't do all I could do to make sure that she came around. So I did a lot. And like I said, I will give a lot of explanations of what I've done, but I just want to let you know that this day, 5 days before Christmas, I am so thankful to God. And I believe that all of you can have this same blessing, that today I can breathe. Today things are better. Today, as I'm listening to my music and cleaning the house for the holidays, and you know, The Storm is Over Now by Kirk Franklin comes on, and I realize the storm is over for me. Like, I'm no longer singing that song praying that the storm will be over. That the storm is actually over today in that part of my life. That my daughter has got her place and she's got her job and she's handling her business. And she even went and put herself in school and got a little got her like excuse me, a medical technician where she does EKG and phlebotomy, and she now has to take her state boards. And I never thought, I mean, that's not true. I kept it in my mind. I said, God, I know that this can happen. I know that you can make it better for me, because I have to believe that you will. I have to believe that you want better for me and for my child. I have to believe that. And so, as long as you keep that belief and you keep God accountable for making things better in your life, and you do what you can to give God the glory, even when it is in the midst of it, it doesn't feel like you can. Even in the midst of it, when you just feel like you want to give up, even in the midst of it, when you just need those days where you need to rest, go ahead and rest. But get back in and keep giving God the glory and the power. And, there's going to be days where you just believe there is no God, because how could he? How could he? But it's not always just, it's not for us to ask why did God have to go through the cross and to the cross and go through what he went through, Let me tell you something, and this is something I want to say. As a parent, I totally can relate how God feels about us. Because when we go and we stray and we do things in life, we hurt our God. That is not appropriate for where God wants us to be. We hurt him. So he's going through when our lives are not straight and narrow, okay? So I have never felt so much close to God in my time of sorrow, to see things in a bigger picture on how he feels about us, because of how I felt about my child, how I wanted things. I had this vision. See, when God built this earth, he had this vision. And sometimes we don't allow that vision to come to light because of the fact that we want to do our own thing. We want to do what we want to do. We want to do what makes us happy. And it doesn't matter if it makes everybody else happy. It doesn't matter if it makes our Father happy. As long as we are satisfied. And see, we become a selfish people. And then when we become a selfish people, we wind up suffering the selfish consequences of that. And it's like my child suffered some consequences of her actions. So guess what? But our God continually fights for us and continually tries to make ways for us, and still continually takes care of us, and still somehow comes through. As long as we have breath in our body, makes each and every day happen for us. Whatever it is, he makes sure our needs are met. He makes sure still somehow something is going to still go right that day, even when everything seems to be going wrong. Because for that day, you at least woke up and you were breathing. For that day, you at least, was probably able to satisfy some need of yours. So I had to see it on God's end of it, that God wants us to do his will, basically. Like we want our kids to do what we ask. And so when you see it in a bigger picture and you start doing the little things you have to do for the Lord, then the Lord will give you a reward. He will give you reward. One of the biggest things I was so against when my daughter had to go through to a lot of schools, because she had got kicked out of the regular school district, so she had to go to out of district school systems for her behavior. And one of the things they was always big on was reward, reward. And I kept saying, well, reward what? She has to live this life and she has to do the right thing and she shouldn't get rewarded for it. And I'm going to probably sit here and have to do a video on that, because when it comes down to it, everybody wants reward. Everybody wants to know, why do we live this earth? Why do we feel like we have to do the right thing? Why? What makes and basically because our God is asking that of us. He wants us to give that, and then he can give us reward. He can give us peace. He can give us joy. You know, we look for it out here in the world and it ain't there, it ain't here. It's God gives that to us. We don't find happiness through how much money we have or how many things we acquire. God gives us the peace and the joy and the stability and the happiness that we are looking for when we realize that all we have to do is just submit to him and give to him. And I have to say, because since my daughter has been much more submissive to me as a parent, it hasn't been easy and it still is not always so great. But since she has been more, you know, like now she takes money from, because like I had to go through the stealing back in the day and I couldn't put my pocketbook down, and you know, she just wasn't a person of her word. But now when she gives me money, I forgot that I gave her money. Hey, Ma, I owed you $140. Did you? Because now I'm happy because I needed that 140, right? She's like coming through and she's doing what I asked of God to help me with. So that's my reward for doing maybe the good things and serving God, even in the midst. Because I was at that church, even with all that was going on, praying for my daughter and still giving God the praise. So I want to say that God asked me to give testimony today. He said, stop trying to make a YouTube channel that's going to be all extra professional and perfect, because everything is not extra professional and perfect. Okay? So my prayer for you, and it's the truth, is that God will help you through whatever it is you're going through, whether it's your child, if it's not your child, whatever it is that you have to struggle through, that know that God is going to carry you through. Just do his will. Just believe God for what, because he is who he say he is. He is God and God alone. And nothing on this earth can ever come close. I pray to you. I really plead to you. Nothing can come close, because when God gives you reward is my daughter is alive. Reward is my daughter has her mind. She's healthy. She's doing her thing. Reward is the fact that I might not have had the husband and the 2 kids, but my children are fine. They're whole. So that's a blessing for me. Okay, that's my reward. Is the reward for all that I thought that I was doing in the past of praising God and never getting a husband. I would rather never have had the husband, because now I know that the Lord needed me to focus on my life and for my kids. So my life is different for me than it is for others, but I'm thankful for how it worked itself out for me. So many things I have learned that I would love to be able to share in my process through my journey of not just through this journey. And I want to be able to share so much of it, but I just wanted to share this tonight. I'm not going to hold you long. 5 days before Christmas, I wanted to sit here and say, first of all, thank you, God, for loving me and loving my family. And I pray that whoever watches this, that they also too will find that peace that they need in you and in their home, because that's so important. Our home should be our peace. Our home should be our serenity. Our home should be our safe haven from all that goes out there in the world. So I pray that everyone is going to be able to find that for them, God. So that's my prayer for everybody. And I just wanted to give my testimony, as I will hopefully be able to give many more. And just keep the faith, keep it going. Just one of the things I used to have is look up, don't let nothing get you down. Don't let nothing get you down. I think that's what it is. I used to have this little thing in my dashboard, and every day I will look at it, says, look up, no, nothing get you down, or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen that before. I could be saying it wrong, and I'm good for that. But I just want you to know that keep your head to the sky, even in all that you've gone through, even all that you go through in the future, in your now, in your past. Just keep your head on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. Know what you're looking for. Know what it is you're trying to do. Know what it is that you are wanting, and just, I should say, make God accountable. I don't know if that's right to say or not, but He gave us promise. Okay, there's promise in the Bible. I'm reading it more. I'm really staying on it as much as I can. There's promise in the Bible. And the thing is, we have to meet a part of that in order to receive those promises. So do your part to please God, and God will do His part to be accountable for the things of your life that you want to restore to wholeness. Okay? I'm hoping I'm saying this right. I'm hoping I'm not insulting anybody, because I think when we ask we are held accountable for our children's actions. That's just a fact. I've learned it. In the court systems, with the police at my door, with everything that was going on, I'm held accountable for her actions. So I am out there trying to make it better for her. My whole life is trying to make things better for her. But she has to also now be accountable for her actions. So guess what? My whole thing is to put it in her head. This is what you have to do. This is who you have to be. This is how it has to be, regardless of what you say. Okay? I know that she has to be accountable for her actions. And because I know that, okay, I know I also do have to be accountable for mine, because when the Lord gave me that child, what He did was He believed that I can handle it. And when He said, this is the child I'm giving you with all the issues, guess what? For some reason, there's something that I'm holding you accountable for, because I know that you can handle it. So if God is holding me accountable, and she's being held accountable for her actions, and I'm being held accountable for my actions, then we have to hold God accountable for what His promise to us. See, we can't do this all by ourselves. So everybody has some type of accountability. You understand? We can't do it all by ourselves. Everybody has a part that they have to play. So you're not alone. Basically, that's to sum up it all. You're not alone. You're going to be accountable, but you're not alone. You have God, and you need that child. And the only way you can pull those two things together is by sitting here giving it to God first, because He's the only thing that can make this whole pyramid go where the foundation is solid. I hope I'm saying this right. I'm hoping I'm making you understand where I'm coming from. And I just, like I said, pray that everything does work out for your life. But keep giving it to God. Rest when you need to rest. Stand when you need to stand. Fight when you need to fight. But just know that never give up. Never give up. And that's that. That's what I wanted to say to you today. Love you all. Okay, probably I'm not able to get out of here.